Hi, so today we're going to start our album, and we're going to first make the cover. And these are the measurements that we need. We have two of them at 8 3/4 by 5 3/4, so I'm going to start with that. And I know that this is 8 1/2, so I have to measure my 8 3/4 this way. So, and let me move my light out of the way. I hope that doesn't make it too dark for you. So I have a guillotine, and y'all have probably seen me do this. And since I have to have two, I'm going to go ahead and mark both of them. And then we want, we have 8 3/4, and now we want 5 3/4. So, and you've probably seen me use my guillotine, but before I start cutting with my guillotine, I always measure and mark my areas. So there's that one marked. Now I have two here. Because on the guillotine, a lot of people, even if they buy the really expensive guillotines, sometimes they have a hard time getting their measurements exact. So this is one way that I can make sure that I have my measurements pretty close to what I want them to be. 8 3/4 and 5 3/4. Okay, so after I've done that, then I'm going to go ahead and get my guillotine, and I have the Tim Holtz guillotine. I've really liked this. There were a few things I had to modify. It has a finger guard here, but I go ahead and I take that off. I don't. As a teacher, we were very careful not to cut our arms off with a guillotine, so I don't worry about the finger guard. Okay, so there's my first cut. And what I do is I line up both ends, both edges. There's my second cut. And I'm going to do this one first. I have really enjoyed the Tim Holtz guillotine. Now I'm going to keep those pieces of chipboard because invariably one of my projects will need something smaller, and so instead of cutting up a big piece like this, I will have little pieces. So okay, we need, the next one is going to be 8 3/4 by 1 inch. So I will move that. These are my good pieces. And that's 8 1/2. I think I might have, yeah, there's 8 3/4. Okay. Okay, so that's perfect. So I just need 1 inch. So this is an OmniGrid quilt ruler, and the reason I like it so much is I have a very small one, just an 1 inch by 6 inch one. You can see through it, and so I can line up my top, and then I make sure my side is lined up so it's square on all of my sides, and that makes it really easy to make sure everything's square. Okay, so this one I want to be 7/8. It's just a little bit smaller. It's the inside spine. I have to admit, these littler ones are harder to cut than a bigger piece. Okay, so let's line this up, line it up. There's the one. And there's the other. Okay, let me put this away. So there we have things cut. Now, I do very short videos. This is only 5 minutes long, and I do apologize because I don't have the papers cut to cover this. But if you're interested in going faster than what I do, I go slow for some of my students online who have asked me, and a few of them that are in person. But what I want to show you is that you can go to Victoria Design. She has both a YouTube channel and an Etsy channel, and she will take you through making the entire book in one video. So if you're comfortable with that, please go ahead and do that. And if not, then I break everything down really small. So what we have are the two pieces for this. Now, usually when we're making a book, we take our black or white, whatever you're using, cardstock, and we frame this in. But we're not going to do that because we have two papers that we're going to print out. One of them gets put on here, wrapped around. The other one gets put on the back, wrapped around. And then we use our brown tape, just like we did for our Halloween journal. We use our brown tape and we lay this in, and then once these are decorated, we do this. So that will be next. So hang on, and I will go ahead and get those things so that we can do that. Okay, we're back. So I have printed the journal size. This is from her Victoria Designs Mystical Zodiac Mega Project Pack, and the number is 002250 if you want to look it up. This is from Etsy, and so I have printed two inside covers, and then two outside covers. So, and these are the same. These are not, the inside ones are not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these aside for just a minute, and I want to tell you to remember that when you're putting this together, you have a spine that is 1 inch wide and a spine that is 7/8. You want to put the 7/8 aside for now until we're ready to do our signatures on the inside. So I'm going to put mine right there, and I'm going to move these out of the way so that I can go ahead and cut these with my cut and score. Now, I love this one. This one is called the All-in-One. It's from We Are Memory Keepers, and it has just been fabulous for everything that I want to do. So I'm going to go ahead. Now, you all know how I do this, and it just makes it a little bit easier. I cut out, and these are corners, so I'm going to just cut them out like that, and I'm going to cut out all 4 of them so that you can kind of see how I line these up in my cut and score, because when you have paper with this much white on the side, it's very hard to get it exactly on your cut line. But see how easy that is once I cut out those corners. And sometimes you will see me just, for example, like this one, I will just go ahead, and it doesn't have to be neat. I will get as close to the corner as I can, and then I will just cut out like that. And it just makes it so much easier for me to line things up on my cut and score. So let me go ahead and do this one. I don't quite have it lined up. Here we go. And if I have a little bit of white, that's okay, because I have lost my, that thing comes off. I will be right back. So I need to warn you, I've already changed the blade on my All-in-One, and I lose, this falls off, the little knife. So you have to be just a little bit careful with it. It feels like it's clipped on, but then somehow it keeps falling off. Okay, so I found it, it's back on, let's cut this. And I did, I left a little bit of white. And again, I'm going to cut out these two bottom ones. And then we're going to go ahead and line these up. This one, and I'm going to leave just a little bit on each edge because the inside will cover this, as you will see. I really like Victoria papers. She's one of my favorites, and I buy several from several people, but she's one of my favorites. She gives you a lot of printable papers, and they're beautiful. I mean, this is just beautiful. And I didn't print this in a sharp in the best. I just printed it on a regular setting, and so it could be even sharper. It depends on what you want it to look like. There are several printer settings on your printer so that you can print with more ink, or you don't have to print with more ink. And usually I use my highest setting. I tell it to print high up, and it prints perfect colors. But for today, I thought, I want to kind of give it an old look, I guess, kind of a faded look. And so I didn't print it as dark or as sharp as I have on other projects that I've made. And I'm leaving about, not quite an eighth, about a 1/16 of an inch. And I hope that will be enough. So I have, let's make sure that doesn't fall off again like it did. Okay, I have enough to do one side for now. So let's go ahead and get one of our bigger pieces. Where did I put them? There we go. Hi, so today what we're going to do is we're going to try and learn how to sew our signatures. Now, we have done staples with our Halloween one, but this one we're going to sew our signatures. And I like sewing a little better because when you put the second part of your spine in, it lays a lot nicer when you've sewn them. The staples kind of make it hard to get the spine to lay down. So I've gone ahead and finished my outside cover, which you've seen part of that. And I've gone ahead and made a cover which is just a little bit bigger than the 7/8 inch by 8 3/4 inch piece that we're going to use to put in as our spine. And the other thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and I've marked the center with a line, and then I have marked about 1/4 of an inch on either side because I'm going to have 3 signatures, and I've gone ahead and made my signatures. And I'm going to show you how to make these even, because a lot of times, even though you cut each page singly to get the white off, it's because you folded it doesn't lay quite straight. So I'm going to show you first of all how to do that. Then we're going to go ahead and start with our sewing. So what I have is my self-healing mat, and I have my quilt ruler, and then I also have my signatures. So what I want to do is you can use either one of these rotary cutters, or you can use an X-Acto knife. I'm going to use the rotary cutter. And what you need to do is make sure that these are pretty square, that your pages are all slid into the center real well. Lay it down nicely. I'm going to move that so it doesn't shine on this. There we go. And then I'm going to line this up. I'm going to line it up as much as I can on these edges, first of all, but I also want to get as close to my edge over here as I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut, cut, cut. And you can see they're starting to come off. Now what this does is then it makes this edge just really nice and straight. And we will go ahead and use our ink to smudge it later. So that's the first one. And I will do another one just to kind of show you. Okay, so the second one, it's really nice. Let's do the third one just to be done. And if you go to VectoriaDesigns YouTube channel, she shows you how to do all of this. She has a really nice channel. Lots of ideas. She gives away lots of freebies, and then she also has an Etsy shop where I buy my papers. I buy papers from other places, but I get a lot from her. Okay, so we've gone ahead and done that. Let me get these all cleaned up so that we can kind of see our mat. So then, the next thing I want to show you that I've done, I have made myself a little helper that's going to show me where I want to place my holes. Now, on my inner spine, I want to have 5 holes, and I want them to be evenly spaced. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my awl. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit so you can see. And I'm going to line this up as best I can. And I have just roughly about 1 inch at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and poke where each of these intersect. And you can see I'm going to have 5 holes on each line. I have 3 lines because I have 3 signatures. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put that aside for now. And the next thing I want to do is I want to take one of my signatures, and I'm actually going to open it up, try and keep the fold together, and I'm going to lay this you know what, it's probably easier if I smudge. So let me go ahead and smudge, then I can see my line a lot easier. Okay, there we go. So there's my line, and I want to line that up there, and that just a little bit. I'm going to mark that because there we go. Okay, so then I'm just going to take my center hole and I'm going to poke. Now I'm going to keep these together and make sure that I've gotten it the entire way through. And I don't make a very big hole because you just want a needle and your thread to go through this. Okay, So when I put this on here, there we go, just about perfect. Oh, nice. Okay, so you're going to do that with all 3 of your signatures. You're going to make 5 holes down each one. And it is easier if you smudge your edge first, because then you can kind of see where you're laying your guide to make your holes. So I'm going to put that one across here. And let's do this one again. And again, you can smudge all your edges. So I've marked that. And I'm going to take all of my holes and make sure that they line up. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch, 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 punch. Okay, and I want to make sure, yep, they went through. Okay, that's good. So there's the second one. Let's do our third one, and then we can go on to sewing. And I can see the holes on this side, so as I lay them down, I make sure that they're on line with my smudged edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to make sure it went through. Yeah, it did. Okay, so I have all 3 of them. I'm going to keep this. I'll put it in my little drawer just in case I ever want to make another one like this. Put that away. So basically the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure and get, I want to make sure and get these holes poked. And we have, I don't know if you can see that, we have a line down the middle and 1/4 of an inch on each side. But then I also marked on this where my holes will be on my signatures. So I'm going to go ahead and poke holes in this. And you actually want to do all 3 across the line down all 5 rows. So you're going to have 15 holes poked in this. And I might like signatures sewn just because I'm a librarian, and that was, I was 28, I think, when I took my first library class. And so that was one of the first classes I took, was how to do books and things. And so that sewing them is nice to me. I like sewn better than stapled. Okay, so after we've done all of our making our holes in our paper, I have, and this is what I use. I also have some threads that are made for sewing signatures, and they're waxed, which is kind of nice, but I don't use these all the time. Since these are decorative books, I like to kind of make my threads match my books. And I have a lot of orange. There we go. That might look really pretty as an edge. This one might look really pretty. I have 2 boxes full of these, so I have a lot of thread that I can use. Oh, I like that one just a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to use this one. And I take quite a bit of thread. Get my scissors, because you can always cut off. You can't, it's harder to add on. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I need a needle. And I do use embroidery needles. They have a little bigger eye, so they're a little easier to thread these threads. Now, if you've done any embroidery work, you know that you don't use the entire thread that you've just pulled. And with this book, I'm going to use 2 strands. There are 6 strands to a single piece of thread. And so I'm going to separate those. So there's the one that I just separated. It has 2 strands, and this one has 4. So I will save this for another book. Once you've done that, the other thing that you want to be aware of if you've not done any embroidery is there is a definite way to thread your threads. And if you lightly pull the thread through your fingers, you can feel which side is smoother. It's a little bit hard. If you've done embroidery, you usually are used to doing this. And so mine will be threaded this way. I want it to thread easy so that it doesn't rip up my threads. And as little as we're doing here, it won't matter, but it's just a little trick. And so I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle. And it's trying to be very naughty today. Okay, there we go. So the first thing you want to do is find the center hole on your signature, and we want to go from the outside in. So I'm going to start here. There we go. And we're going to pull it up. We're going to leave ourselves a little tail. And you can tape it down with your repositionable tape if you want to, so that you don't pull it out inadvertently. And so I want this side to look pretty nice. The other side's going to get hidden on the spine. So I want this side to look pretty nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this one. And you can see. So then I want to come up this last one, and I'm going to go to the other side, which makes it easier for me to see my hole. I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to go back down that one. Okay, so we're going to have a big leap. And we're going to go from this one to the second one from the top. So I want to go ahead and put my needle through that one. And I am going to go clear to the top one this time. There are all kind of fancy YouTube videos if you want to do some fancy sewing. Check it out. It's really kind of cool. And then I'm going to come back up through this one. And you can have more than 5 holes if you like. You just have to kind of remember how to keep the long threads on the outside and the short threads on the inside. And then this is the original. The middle one is the original one that we came up from. So I'm going to go back down through there. And I am back where I started. So I'm going to tie this off. And I'll do a surgeon's knot, which is that. And then with one of these, I'm going to take one under so that it catches that long thread. And I'm going to tie another knot, and then I'm going to do the surgeon's knot. I'm going to go once around, twice around, and pull it tight. So there, you have one of your signatures finished already. Looks good. So actually, I made a mistake. So what you wanted to do was you wanted to sew this to this. And so I'm going to show you how to do that with this one. I am so sorry. I got so excited about showing you how to sew signatures. And you can sew that again if you want to. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to find, let's see, this is the middle one. Gemini, yeah. So I want to find the middle hole, and I want to go up through it. And I am going to tape this to the side a little bit so that I don't, there we go. And then I want to go up through this one. Now, the top one is, when you start putting your signatures in, you want to keep your tops going the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to go down this first bottom one and out this one. And then I want to come up the last one at the bottom. And then I'm going to go back down through this. There we go. Now I want to skip the middle one, and I want to go to the second one at the top. Okay. So then the next one I want to do is the very top one. And I want to come back down through the second one from the top, from the back end. I'm trying to pull my thread just a little bit tight. There we go. And so then I want to go back down through the middle one. Yeah, there we go. So again, I want to make sure and catch this long thread that I've done. So I will have one end of my thread on the right side and one end on the left side as I tie it. And I'm going to go ahead and tie a single, and then I'm going to tie a double. 1, 2, and there you have it. So you're basically going to push this over and then put your first one on, which is this one. And then you want to put your last one on this side. Once you've done that, we'll come back and we'll go ahead and glue this into our book. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is we're going to go ahead and glue this onto our inner spine, and then we will attach it to our outer spine. And in order for us to do that, I'm going to get my glue, and I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the entire, this is our 8 3/4 by 7/8 inch piece of cardstock, and that's our inner spine because our outer spine was 1 inch wide, and this is 7/8. We want this to fit kind of inside. So I'm going to get it right inside of here, and yeah, that looks good. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and glue these sides right there. Now there are different ways to attach your sewn-in signature spine, but this is one way that we can do it, and we will learn how to do others at another time. There we go. Okay, so the only other thing we need, ouch, oh, that was my pin. I'm really good at that. So the only other thing we need to do, and we'll be finished, is we're going to go ahead and put our signatures inside of our book. Now, this is my front, and so this is the top, and this is the top of my book. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put glue on this. And if you like using the score tape, you know, you're welcome to do that. But I don't want that on my paper. It'll get stuck. And I want to make this pretty, quite a bit. Okay, so then I am going to center it inside of there, and I will push. I will probably open this and then just burnish down. Now you can see I've painted my tape. Yeah, there we go, and we have it. It looks good. It looks very nice. And I'm going to go ahead and pull some of that excess glue out of my corners. Woo! And there you have it. That looks good. That looks very good. And I'll push this down some more. Yep, there we go. And there you have your book. Now if you want to, you can put some envelopes in here or pockets, whatever you like. You can put them all through here if you like to. That's okay. But there's your journal. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me. Bye.